are the most important issues in this presidential election?
This is a make or break point for the middle class. So it's important that the leading contenders for the race for the presidency, both on the Republican side as well as President Obama, continue to focus on creating jobs in the economy. Most Americans are still feeling the effects of the greatest national economic crisis since the Great Depression, and therefore they're concerned about job creation. They're concerned about the overall health of the economy, the growth of the economy, and they're very concerned about their own personal employment status. So I would say that jobs and the economy will remain number one throughout the rest of the campaign season.
How do you rate President Obama's success in dealing with jobs in the economy?
You know, when President Obama took office, the economy was hemorrhaging about 700,000 jobs a month. We've grown over the last 34 months. We've seen job growth increase, but not enough to bring overall unemployment down to 6 or 7%. But what has occurred over the last few years is that President Obama has been able, through the American Recovery Act and other initiatives, to help what I call put the economy on a sound footing. So the private sector has created over 2.5 million jobs. We've seen an increase in activity in terms of domestic activity, manufacturing, retail. Again, it's not enough to pop the champagne bottle, but we're no longer hemorrhaging 700,000 jobs a month, 20,000 jobs a day. The important thing is that President Obama has put forward policies that will help small businesses. He's extended or created more than 17 tax cuts and tax breaks for small businesses. 2 out of 3 new jobs are created by small businesses. And the President is focused on job creation, strengthening small businesses, and helping the overall economic health of the entire United States economy.
Now, focusing specifically on states, what has the President done to help states?
Well, first of all, again, the American Recovery Act, that not only helped to create or stabilize the job market, especially at the state and local level, it was responsible for helping to preserve jobs for over 200,000 teachers and first responders and firefighters. So I think the American Recovery Act helped state and local governments with not just first responders and safety workers and teachers, but also I believe it helped the overall economy at a time when the country was still on the brink of a major financial disaster. So that was, I think, the most important priority. But going forward, there's no question that healthcare, states and local governments, they've also shed hundreds of thousands of jobs. They're concerned about the rising costs of health premiums, pension costs, and so forth. And I think what President Obama is trying to do with some of the initiatives with the American Jobs Act and other important things that he has on his plate is to give state and local governments the foundation that they need to rebuild their infrastructure and to help revitalize their local and state economies as well.
Now, I'm assuming you do want the president to be reelected. In a nutshell, why?
President Obama, I believe, has provided great leadership to this country at a time when there's a lot of partisan gridlock in Washington, D.C. He's extended more than an olive branch to the Republicans to assist them on helping to rebuild America's economy, keep America strong and secure in a very global marketplace. There's no question that President Obama is still faced with a lot of what I call partisan gridlock on especially in the House now that it's controlled by the Republicans. They have basically followed Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader's program to stop President Obama, not to give him any success, and to ensure that he's a one-term president. The American people did not elect the president or members of Congress to stop progress or to halt job creation. They elected members of Congress and the president to work together to forge a compromise and to try to help the American people during this very terrible economic time. So I think the president has provided the vision. He has reiterated that America must be safe and secure. As he said most recently, axe al-Qaeda, if he's been an appeaser. More than 22 al-Qaeda leaders have been brought to justice under his leadership. He's restored America's standing in the world. He has, kept his promise to keep Israel safe and secure. He's increased funding for the Iron Dome project, which is very important for Israel. He's also, reset our engagement with Russia. So I think the president has the right ingredients, the right vision, and the right values to keep America strong and secure in the 21st century. So, yes, I do believe President Obama will be reelected because the American people voted for change in 2008, and he is delivering on many of the items that he promised he would to bring about real lasting change to the American economy and to the American people overall.
So stepping back for a minute and looking at it from a more 30,000 feet perspective, what do you think are the keys to presidential success?
There's no question. At an hour when there's so much partisan gridlock, the American people, they're hungry for civility. They want leaders who will work together, who will put aside their partisan aspirations to figure out what is best for the American people, what's best for the American homeowner, the American business person. They want fairness, they want balance, they want shared sacrifice. And I think they're looking for leaders who can force a kind of compromise that will ensure that their kids and their grandkids can have the same kind of life and lifestyle, be able to obtain, that dream home, job, and car and success. Essentially middle class values that we all espouse to. They're looking for leaders who can help create that new dynamic in this country, not leaders who are just out to, win elections and then, keep progress from being made.
And then finally, in Congress, do you think ideology and politics are putting the nation at risk?
I think the hyperpartisanship that we have witnessed over the last few years has had a very, debilitating impact on members of Congress being able to get things done. When you look at the legislation that President Obama offered in the American Jobs Act, 90% of that legislation basically came about as ideas that Republicans once backed, Republicans once supported, the extension of payroll tax cuts. The Republicans once supported, tax credits for small businesses and micro enterprises. And so it's important to understand, if you look at the issues and you look at where the parties have stood on these issues in the past. Once upon a time, Republicans used to support these issues, and now because President Obama has proposed them, they have made the decision to oppose them just for the sake of opposition. And so I think that's hurting the American economy. That's hurting our country at a time when we should be leading in the world. Or rather, we're having all of these what I call small d partisan fights, small r partisan fights. It's not healthy for the country, and the American people are looking at both political parties, and they're saying, you know what? They're coming away saying, I don't like the Republicans, I don't like the Democrats. Congress has the lowest approval rating in the history of the institution. Congress is as popular as a root canal. And while President Obama's numbers have remained steady, mid-40s, anywhere between 40 to 44% in terms of personal approval, but on traits of leadership, on issues that people typically look at when they support a particular individual for public office: trust, integrity. He has great attributes. The problem is that Washington is dysfunctional. Washington is a city that uses traffic circles to give you the illusion that traffic is moving, when in fact the metaphor is that it's going in circles. We're not making much progress. And hopefully the next election will resolve this partisanship, because I think the American people have sent 3 different messages in 2006, 2008, and 2010. But the bottom line, the connection of what I call the ingredient that I've seen in all of these election results, is that they want change. They want our political leaders to sit down and work together, and they would like to see the American economy return to fiscal health, so that everyone can share in the prosperity of this great country.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.